Yes, Parramatta Eels coach Brad Arthur has done a really good job over 9 years now. 9 years as head coach of the Parramatta Eels, but still no premiership. Speculation today that he's being shopped around to other clubs. Do we have any clarity on that?
Yeah, boys, look, it's my understanding that Canterbury is the club that one way or another, Brad's name has appeared at the Bulldogs, either through a conversation that GM of Footy Phil Gould's had with Brad's management about, hey, what coaches are on your books, who's available, what could, maybe a what-if scenario, or vice versa. Brad's management knows that the Dogs are on the hunt for a new coach, and again, would you consider Brad down the track? That's what I understand, that Canterbury is the Sydney club that was sounded out. Do I think it eventuate? No, I don't. I think what Brad's saying is correct at this point in time, that he's content where he is. He's on contract, and I know there was also a conversation with the Parramatta chairman today and Brad's management that clarified that as well, that both parties want to be in this marriage going forward.
The interesting thing, though, is that Arthur's management has categorically denied to him that there's been a conversation, even though it doesn't appear that that's necessarily been the case. I will say, though, I actually think from Canterbury's point of view, if they're the ones that approach Brad Arthur, or from Arthur's manager's point of view approaching Canterbury, I actually think it's diligent management in both instances, whichever way you read it. The fact that, because there is just that little bit of speculation about Brad's future, the fact that, once again, we talk about premiership windows, we talk about Parramatta's record going into final series. Brad's a quality coach. He really knows what he's doing.
If it's boys, we know what happens with players. So why are we naive not to think that it happens with coaches?
Because he just denied it.
It definitely happens.
He just denied it, though, Dave.
Yeah, but he denied.
He denied. He said he spoke to his management this morning, and they said
he's repeated what his management said.
I know, but this is what the fans are dealt with. This, like you're saying, it happens with players. Yes, it does. But he's come out and categorically denied that it happened.
Yeah, he's denied having a knowledge of an approach or going to another club. He's happy to stay where he is.
But there's been instances...
No, he said his management, he'd spoken to his management today, and they told him they hadn't spoken, yet your information is that they had spoken.
That doesn't mean his management haven't made a quiet phone call on his behalf.
Made 100%. But you don't think they would have told him that?
Maybe,
not necessarily.
Not if it wasn't fruitful.
Yeah, if they got a rebuff by Canterbury, then they'd probably keep that from him. But the fact is, as I said, I actually think it's diligent from them to say, well, look, would you be interested? Because there is that speculation that continues to sit there. Parramatta are probably not going to be in a stronger position next season than where they are now. This is their best chance, as Brad Arthur said himself today in that press conference. This is Parramatta's best chance. I don't know if it's ever, but certainly from this year into these next 2 years, because he loses Reid Mahoney, he loses Papali, he's losing some quality players, and there's not the same calibre player coming through, at least not next season.
That's what stood out to me, is that he said this is our best chance to win a premiership pretty much since he's been at the club. Now, he's never said anything like that. Over the years, he plays it down. That's the style in which he coaches. He knows
I like the fact he's doing that.
I like it too, but I love it, and I do rate him as a coach.
Obligate the players. Put the pressure on them to perform.
Which is probably a change that he's needed.
And probably the players need.
The players need to take a lot more onus too, Kenty. But now speculation heading into the finals, if there is going to be about his coaching future, that can't help. So it's a bit of a tricky one.
He has to challenge his players, though, because he has been there for 9 years. He's built this squad. He's handpicked these guys to be the future for Parramatta. But they haven't been able to, in the last couple of years, get past week 2 of the finals.
Well, I mean, everyone's thought they've had a bit of a soft underbelly, Parramatta, right? So him putting this pressure on them and saying, OK, it's time to aim up. It's time to deliver. You got to show me what you got. You got to take us to the premiership. He can't probably do any more than what he's done. Like, these 9 years of coaching that club, getting them to the finals, putting them in a position to win. It's time for the players to do the rest.
And for 9 years, he's mollycoddled them, he's looked after them, and he's protected them, and he's tried to keep as much pressure off them. And when we get to those finals games, for the last 9 years, the furthest they've advanced is week 2.
But see, he's the head coach. He keeps this squad together, and I know he doesn't have ultimate and complete power at Parramatta when it comes to the recruitment and retention, but he has a significant say. And as a head coach, it's your job to get a squad together that can ultimately win you a premiership. And when I was looking at this the other day, I thought to myself, you know what? Brad's in his 9th year at Parramatta. Ricky Stuart's in his 9th year at Canberra. Ricky cops at left, right and centre for supposedly not doing a good job with the Raiders. Over 9 years, he's got the Raiders to 2 preliminary finals and a grand final. Brad Arthur has not made a preliminary final and he hasn't got them to past week 2 of the finals.
I don't think it's a premiership winning squad. I don't. And I believe that because you look at that State of Origin team, 2 players out of game 1, Ryan Madison and Regan Campbell-Gillard. Clint Gutherson, not an Origin player. Mitchell Moses, not an Origin player. Reid Marnie, not an Origin player, right? They may be just hitting the ceiling as far as they can go. Maybe they're doing as well as that they can. Because as far as I'm concerned, that is not... Junior Paulo was the only Origin player in their squad. Right? So maybe they're actually just playing to their actual potential.
So is the answer to change the playing squad or to change the coach? Because at some point, if Parramatta don't stand up and deliver in this year's final series, when they've already beaten Penrith this year, they've already beaten Melbourne, if they don't stand up and deliver, surely there has to be a circuit breaker.
Yeah, I think the circuit breaker comes in the roster. Look, we had a similar argument than we had with Reedy last night about St George Illawarra. If the coach is getting what we believe is the best out of them, if Parramatta are a top 4 squad and they finish top 4, but that's as far as anybody sees them go, and nobody tipped Parramatta to win the grand final this year. Nobody, very few, a couple of them in the grand final, but not many people tipped them to make the grand final. So if they then fall short of that, where's the expectation come there?
Because that's where I have a different view to you, because I see the head coaching position, no matter what team you take over, your job is to ultimately try and win that premiership. Of
course it is.
And there's no excuses. So if the Roosters don't have, if the Roosters don't have the squad, you know what they do? They trade out Mitchell Pearce and they bring in Cooper Cronk. That's what Brad Arthur's job is, to make those tough calls.
I don't disagree with that, but the fact is, not every team can win a comp either. Not every team's got it in them to win the comp this year. There's only 3-4 teams.
And that is the truth.
It's been 35 years. 35 years. Is this as good as they're going to get? Can they win a premiership? Have you 3 got a line through them? Do you think they can't win?
No, I definitely think they're probably, at this point in time, heading into the final 7 weeks of the regular season, I'd say they're Penrith's greatest threat.
OK, so you've got them a chance.
At this point in time, yes. Surely, mate, they've beaten Melbourne this year. Yeah. They've beaten Penrith. Yeah. They've shown that they can stand up.
They've also lost to Canterbury and West.
That's right.
And that's their problem of getting through the finals is consistency.
Well, that's it. They've gone win-loss, win-loss pretty much all season.
So there's still a chance.
Of course there's still a chance.
There's still a chance.
Reminds me of Dumb and Dumber. You were pretty critical. We're all being critical of Parramatta.
I don't think it's a premiership winning squad.
So you're saying that they can't win?
To Crawl's point about the Roosters, if you drop James Tedesco into that Parramatta team, boom, they'll go and win the comp. They just don't have that. They've got quality players across the board, but no know-how, experience, premiership winning quality.
If they don't win this year, they're in some trouble, aren't they? Because there's a fair chance with it losing Marnie, Papali'i, they're losing some high-quality players. If they don't have if the roster doesn't win this year, and that's where Brad Arthur could really find some trouble. This is his last chance, right?
And look, it's no crap at him either, because they are a consistently high team on the competition ladder. But at some stage, Parramatta fans want to win a comp. Yeah. And so if you go another year, if you go another 10 years, he'll probably keep them in top 4. This is his chance to win a premiership.
It's an open comp. It's an open comp.
When Warren Ryan left Balmain way back when, he got to the end of it and he said the lemon's been sucked dry. And you talked to Blocker and Betty and that really, they felt really insulted by that. And only in the benefit of hindsight, years after they retired, will they admit that he was right. Parramatta are almost at that point where if they don't get there this year, given the quality of players who are leaving, they're going to, rather than try and extend it out, we saw this with Canterbury 10 years ago where first time Des took them to the grand final, they lost the grand final. They then should have gone away and regrouped and actually rebuilt. Instead, they tried to eke it out for 2 more years and it destroyed the club. It set them backwards a lot more years than what would have taken, in other words, in other circumstances. And Parramatta are the same. If they don't get there this year, they almost have to say, righto, we need to go through the squad down, we need to start rebuilding.